Welcome to CityWise. I'm your host, Tiana Stevens. CityWise is produced by the City of Rochester to shine a spotlight on city living at its best. Well, it's a multi-campus urban agriculture project with a focus on educational employment opportunities for youth. The Seedfolk City Farm engages young people through project-based learning while creating a healthy, localized community food system. Lisa Barker, co-founder of Seedfolk, joins us today, along with youth leaders Jamison Clark and Kasem Wallace. Thanks for coming on today.
Thanks for having us.
Yeah, thank you for having us. Lisa, how did Seedfolk get its start?
So Seedfolk really it came about through the collaboration between myself and a number of other members of our sort of core team, and each of us had sort of separately been working on different projects in different areas of the city related to urban agriculture and youth development, and we each sort of had our own background and sort of a goal for what we wanted our project to become. And when we through a series of events kind of found each other and started collaborating, we realized that everything that we each wanted to do could really be done very well in collaboration. So it and it was really sort of a work in progress for a very long time. We sort of officially launched as Seedfolk City Farm in the fall of 2014, but it was something that had been sort of brewing and coming together for a while before that.
And what are some of the things that happen at Seedfolk? So there's a few locations where you grow.
Yep. We have two main farming sites. One of them is on East Main Street. It's behind the Greenhouse Cafe. So it's part of this really unique greenhouse complex that used to be a florist. It was Phelps Florist up until like the early 90s. And now we have two greenhouses and an outdoor growing space there. And then we also partner with the Gandhi Institute for Nonviolence over in the Plex neighborhood. So we farm on the land adjacent to their building right on South Plymouth Avenue there.
Nice. Kasem, how did you hear about Seedfolk and become involved?
Yeah, so I suppose I've been involved with Seedfolk City Farm basically since the beginning. I got involved initially when Seedfolk City Farm, before the fall of 2014, I believe, probably in the fall of 2012. A lot of the members of Seedfolk City Farm were working with another urban agriculture program called Grow Green, which primarily operated through an after-school program. And I live just 3 doors down from where their initial gardening site was, so I started coming and volunteering. And then when it evolved into Seedfolk City Farm, I continued to volunteer and work in several youth programs.
Very nice. And Jamison, and both of you are youth leaders. What does that exactly mean? What are your roles at Seedfolk?
Well, right now we're in the middle of or towards the end of our compost education program at schools number 28 and 15. And essentially our roles as youth leader include going into the classrooms and getting to be sort of like a bit closer to their age group. So we're more like peer leaders and instructors rather than just an adult teacher that's coming in to tell you what to do, and hopefully have engaging hands-on things for them to be able to learn about different scientific earth cycles and how that relates to what we do at Seedfolk.
And so these are elementary school age kids learning about composting and other things like that. How do they react when they hear about what you guys are doing?
Often they can't believe that their food scraps and things that they would usually just sort of forget about can actually break down and grow into something else. And I think that's such a key, crucial thing, because I feel like so much of the food that we consume is sort of just seems like it comes out of thin air. We're not really aware of where it's coming from, and I think that with more appreciation of that process, kids especially are much more open to trying new things and expanding their diet to eating more fruits and vegetables.
And you sell fruits and vegetables around the city. Where do you do that at?
So we've been selling at the West Side Farmers Market for for a number of years now. We have a stand there every Tuesday, so June through October. And the youth in our program, Kasim in particular, has been one of the managers of our stand for, since even before I was involved with the program, really, if you go back to Grow Green. So the Westside Farmers Market is definitely one of our favorite interfaces with the community. This year we're actually at the South Wedge Market for the first time as well, which we're really excited about. So that's on Thursdays. And we have a few restaurant customers that we work with as well, which has been really a wonderful way of getting some sort of additional community support. And we really love being able to deliver fresh produce each week and know that it's like reaching even more people in the community that way.
Right. What are so along with composting education in elementary schools, what are some of the events that you offer to the community to come in and learn?
So we just started partnering with the Rochester Brainery, and we have a class, actually 2 classes coming up later this month with them, and we're hoping to sort of continue that. We've been offering classes in vegetable gardening as well as composting. So that's been a really great way to, again, reach a broader sort of sector of the community. We do open houses at our greenhouse and our gardens. Every summer at the end of our summer youth program, we have a big kind of like party and celebration open house, and that's one of my favorite things that we do each year, for sure.
Kasim, when customers see you at the market and they see you at the open houses, and maybe this is the first time that they're learning about Seedfolk, what's their reaction?
Yeah, so we've definitely got a lot of different reactions over the time that I've been with Seedfolk City Farm. At the Westside Farmers Market, it's always been really amazing and unique. We have so many customers who come to support us from year to year. They're very excited to see us, support us, and offer us feedback. And often with the people I've encountered at the Greenhouse Cafe and different places where we've hosted open houses, people are really interested in learning how they can get involved. People also find it really neat to learn that it's something that youth are interested in and wonder how youth can get involved. So I think it's definitely been a really great experience that a lot of people, much like myself when I got involved, want to know how they can get involved with.
And how should people reach out, Lisa, if they want to either volunteer or be employed at Seedfolk?
So through our website, we have a volunteer form. We get a lot of folks that way. People also contact us directly, via email and social media. We also love it when people stop by our greenhouse. We have pretty regular volunteer days on usually about 2 Saturdays a month. So that's one really nice way to reach more folks. Yeah, I'd say probably through our just through our website and our contact.
And does Seedfolk operate year-round, or do you take a break in the winter?
Well, we just actually got our greenhouse covered at the Greenhouse Cafe location, or behind that, off of East Main Street, where we're able to grow year-round because of the plastic covering, which can keep it warm during the winter. So I think we're excited to see how that goes this winter.
Yeah, our youth programs run typically the spring, summer, and fall, and then in the winter we do a lot of planning and scheming and grant writing and the sort of the more logistics part of like making the rest of the season work.
Sure. And what community partners do you engage to help keep this going?
So we are really fortunate. We have a lot of really wonderful community partners. Right now, one project Jameson mentioned is the Compost Education Project, and that's through a grant that we got from the New York State Pollution Prevention Institute. So it sort of focuses specifically on pollution prevention methods, and we're approaching that, by thinking about composting as a way of reducing pollution, and through the classrooms we're working with, a total of 12 classrooms, we're reaching about 300 students through this whole spring. So we've been, we implemented composting programs in those classrooms. We just, this past week, just planted a garden with the students. So that's been really great. And again, it's really wonderful just having both of these guys being teachers right alongside, the adults.
Excellent.
So that's one. We also partner with the Center for Youth Services and Rochester Works. So every summer for the last 4 summers, we've done the Summer Youth Employment Program through Rochester Works, and the Center for Youth has been a really great partner for that. We employ 12 teenagers each year that way.
Wonderful.
And for them, often that's like their first time working with us. And we've been especially fortunate the last couple of years. We've been able to kind of keep on some of the youth that start with us that summer, maybe as their very first experience with gardening and working outside and thinking about a food system. And we've been able to keep them on for some of our like spring internship projects. So it's a great way of reaching some new folks.
Jameson, what keeps you motivated to do this work?
Oh boy, I think I'm most motivated just by like the opportunity to have an influence on sort of the things that a young person is learning about in their formative years can really have a big effect on the way that they look at the world and how they consider their actions as they're growing up. And I think that in a world where so much of what we do is not in harmony with the earth and isn't working so well for us, and the most that a lot of grown people, adults can do is sort of just perpetuate the problem, to give the problem to young people and say, hey, you have your whole life to get to contribute to this issue, to me is like the most exciting, and it gets me up and out the door to go and do that.
Excellent. Finally, Qasim, why is this so important for Rochester?
I think this is an amazing project to have in Rochester, or really just anywhere, to be able to connect youth with urban agriculture. I got involved when I was roughly about 12, and it's been something that I've been slowly doing ever since, and I started gardening at my own house, and it's definitely made me more conscious to just my surroundings and how we all affect our surroundings through food and agriculture.
Wonderful. Great job. Thank you guys so much for coming on. For more information about the Seedfolk City Farm, visit their website, seedfolkcityfarm.org. You can also check out their Facebook page.